What's up? How y'all doing? It's Gabriel, just another Fan TV. Coming back at you another video. And I want to talk about what the Ravens still have as their biggest needs left on their roster, right? So, free agency period is going on. We're kind of at the tail end of that. You know, right now, it's not really a lot of guys available, right? Mostly what's available is, you know, you're picking up some guys that's going to help fill in certain spots on your roster. Not really big impact signings. I mean, of course, you still got your Julio Jones, guys like that out there. You know, some big names out there like that. But right now, you kind of fill in the roster with what you got, right? What's left on the market. But the Ravens still have holes. So I want to talk about what are the biggest holes on the Ravens as currently constructed. So I'm not going to talk about wide receiver because, as we know, that's the big hot button issue amongst Ravens fans, right? We know that the Ravens could possibly add a receiver. We're well aware. For me, I'm kind of in the camp of if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, oh well. I think they have confidence in the young guys, and also confidence that one or two of these undrafted free agent guys can be contributors. So I'm not going to talk about the wide receivers. And if we're not talking about wide receivers, there's really no point talking about offense because we're kind of good on offense right now. If we really look at it as far as players in each position, right? Offensive line revamped. Lamar Jackson, MVP quarterback. J.K. Gus coming back. Added Tyler Beatty. Added Mike Davis. Tight end Rome looking good. So we're going to focus on the defense. Now, the defense is revamped as well. It's in a better spot than it was last year. But there's still some improvements to be made. So I think there's three key spots on defense where the Ravens can still look to add players, potentially. So we got inside linebacker, all right, edge, and a kind of an underrated one, cornerback, right? So inside linebacker, Patrick Queen, obviously he needs to take the next step. If he has a breakout year, that's great. You know, for him, a breakout year is consistency because he's put up decent numbers. For him, it's about consistency and bringing it week to week. Now, the Ravens brought back Josh Bynes for a reason. They still feel like they need Josh Bynes in the middle of the defense to kind of move guys around because they want Queen to be more of a read and react guy, which is not the greatest thing because when Patrick Queen was drafted, he was drafted to be that next leader, that next, you know, Ravens linebacker, right? And also, you know, the Ravens tried to get Bobby Wagner. Obviously, they were the number 2 team next to the Rams, who ended up getting Bobby Wagner. But just to show, just for their pure effort of trying to get that guy, it shows that, you know, what PQ has given the Ravens has been good. You know, it's been good, but it hasn't been exactly what they were looking for, and they still wanted to add somebody next to him, right? Hopefully Malik Harrison coming back from, you know, the shooting incident that happened last year. You know, he's fully recovered, so hopefully he gets a chance to play middle linebacker. I think there was some talks of him playing outside linebacker. I don't know how true that is. We'll see, but I think he's still going to get a chance to play middle linebacker. But I want to talk about some of the undrafted free agent guys real quick that they did bring in. They could have brought in more than 3, but these are the 3 guys that really stand out to me. Kobe McLean, Auburn. So he stands out to me because he was second team All SEC. And we know SEC is a tough conference. So to be second team All SEC, that's a big deal. I think he's 6 foot, about 235. So a little undersized. That could probably go toward why he was undrafted. But I think he could help the Ravens if he plays well in camp. Let's see what he does. Josh Ross, Michigan. Now, this is probably one of the more interesting ones because he's another guy that played under Mike McDonald at Michigan for his season that he was there, just like David Ojabo. So now he got this guy Josh Ross, and you know Mike McDonald had to be heavily involved in getting him to come here. So with that being said, he doesn't have to learn a new defense. He should be up to speed with everybody flying around the football. So he probably has a good chance to make this roster if he plays well, and he should play well. And the only thing that's different is obviously it's the NFL, it's not college, which is a big difference. But he shouldn't have to really think too much as far as, oh, where I'm supposed to line up on this and that when he's already done it for an entire season. All right. And I believe he's another about 6 foot linebacker. I think he's a little lighter, like 225, 230. So, and then lastly, Jeremiah Moon, Florida. So this guy's the biggest linebacker of them all that I just mentioned. He's about 6'5", 250. So he's kind of more of a well, he's really even taller than throwback linebackers. You know, throwback linebackers are usually somewhere between 6'1", 6'3". So this guy being 6'5", he's even bigger than that. But that 250 is kind of what you expected from linebackers. You know, you carry that weight to add that power to it behind him when you hit somebody. So physical freak. So hopefully maybe he can add some things as well. So the Ravens have guys in the building. I don't see them really bringing in another free agent unless it's like an LJ Fort who just recovered from, who's recovering from his ACL injury from last year. Now, if they bring in a guy like that, I can understand it. But other than LJ Fort, I don't see the Ravens really adding free agents. I think they're more going to go with Josh Bynes, Patrick Crane, Malik Harrison, and maybe one or two of these undrafted free agent guys that they added during the offseason. So next, edge rusher. The Ravens are really thin at edge right now. We got to be honest about it, particularly to start the season. Now, once the season gets started and we get to, say, October, November, I think that Ravens will be good at edge rusher. But to start out the season, they're going to be really thin. Okay, right now it's looking like Odafe Owe, Justin Houston off the free agent tender, Dalen Hayes, who was an underrated player. I think he can have a good season for the Ravens, but, still unproven as of right now. And Jalen Ferguson, who most Ravens fans will probably say they might expect to be cut. See how training camp goes out. If he balls out, makes the roster, great, but it's been a disappointing. I mean, I think we're going into his 4th year now, so it hasn't been great for Jalen Ferguson up to now. So maybe he flips that switch and he becomes, sack daddy again, right? But the reason that they're so thin right now is because Tyus Bowser, Achilles, at the end of the season, and David Ojabo, Achilles, a couple months ago at his pro day. So these are two guys who are high impact players who are going to have a big role in the Ravens defense once they come back. So to have those two guys out is a big deal, and it can't be understated. Now, the Ravens, like I said, they gave Justin Houston this free agent tender. So that's their free agent signing to me. Melvin Ingram just signed with the Dolphins, so he's out of the market. And I'm not sure how interested they were in him anyway. But Melvin Ingram is out the market. So there's not really a lot of guys left. So you got Houston, and you got our guys on our roster. They might have added some UDFA guys. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I'm a little concerned about how the Ravens are going to generate pass rush to start at least the first 4 to 7 weeks of the season before guys can come back and get acclimated to the defense. So I think that's something that's going to have to be addressed in a way. I'm not sure how they're going to address it, but also you're going to have guys step up. If Odafe Owe takes that next step and becomes a dominant pass rusher year 2, that'd be a great help. If Justin Houston can turn back the clock a little bit, he's an older player, so he probably won't play as many snaps. But if he can give the Ravens some good production, all right, Jalen Ferguson, Dalen Hayes, you need these guys to kind of step up and move forward. But I am concerned what the Ravens are going to do at edge to start at least the first month and a half of the season. And a position that, when healthy, could be a position of strength is the cornerback room. So when we think of the Ravens cornerback in the secondary, we say, oh, we're good. And while the safety room looks really good, I mean, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Geno Stone, Darius Washington, going on and on. We got a lot of guys there, a lot of good guys that can really fly around the football. But corner is a little thin. I mean, Marcus Peters is still recovering from his injury. But they said his recovery is going well, so I'm not going to be overly pessimistic about that. So hopefully he'll be out there week 1 when we go up against the New York Jets. Marlon Humphreys is back, so obviously you got your cornerback 1 back, so that's great. But besides those two guys, we're talking about Brandon Stevens year 2, who we're hoping will take the leap, and maybe he will. We're talking about Jalen Armour-Davis, just drafted. And we're talking about Pepe Williams, who's also drafted this year. Now, Pepe Williams kind of seems like he's going to be a special teams guy, at least to start the year. So we're looking at really talking about Brandon Stevens and Jalen Armour-Davis. Jalen Armour-Davis went to Alabama, so good pedigree there, good competition, another SEC defender. And he has good coverage skills and good corner ability. So while I'm not 100% nervous about him playing, it is still a lot to ask for a rookie just to come out and go against the NFL wide receivers right off the bat. So for me, I would like to see the Ravens add a little bit of cover at cornerback. So cornerback is the one spot where I could see a free agent signing happening. Now, James Badberry is still out there. If the price is right, that's the guy who I would love for the Ravens to bring in. I talked about James Bradbury in another video on the channel. If you want to check it out, you can go ahead. But basically, James Bradbury, he's a Pro Bowl corner. He's only 28 years old. So, Giants, and he only got cut by the Giants because they need to save the cap space, save them about $10 million. If the price is right, that's the kind of guy the Ravens should be looking at to bring in, who will really, really help this cornerback room. Now, with James Bradbury, if he was in the building, you wouldn't have to rush back Marcus Peters. He could take his time. Brandon Stevens can come into a role slowly, and so can Jalen Armour-Davis. Now these guys don't have to be rushed onto the field. And Marlon's still going to do his thing. And also Marlon can pick a kick back in the slot, which is something I say a lot on this channel, because it's something that I truly believe that when Marlon Humphrey gets to play more slot, and not just exclusively slot, but get him mixing in there, he's a much better player. So that's the guy I'm looking at, James Badberry. If he can be added to the roster, great. If not, it is what it is. The Ravens are a really, really good team. All right. You could almost say they're a great team if healthy. Now, if healthy is the biggest thing. But they have a Super Bowl caliber team as constructed right now. But they still have some little bit of holes. Every team has holes. No team is perfect. But if the Ravens were to find some more inside linebackers that actually play well, that's a to be determined, because I don't think they're going to add anybody. So we got to see how these young guys play. If the Ravens were to withstand the pressure of not having dominant edge rushers, at least to start the season, then when those guys come back, that's a big boost. And the cornerback room, Marcus Peters is healthy. If we would have asked somebody like James Bradbury, the team is almost close to being perfect at every spot on the team. Like I said, I'm not going to mention wide receiver. I think they're going to roll with the young guys. I really do. They may add one vet, but I think they're going to roll with the young guys. So the Ravens have a really, really good roster. They still have holes to fill. But I'm excited for the season. It's your boy Gabriel, just Another Fan TV. Hey, let me know what free agents you were still looking for the Ravens to add. Who's out there that you want the Ravens to pick up? Let me know in the comments, man. Y'all have a great day. Bye.